YouTube. I know I just did an announcement for Fred Hammond, but I wanted to talk about something really quick, making it short and cute. So I seen something on YouTube just now about Precious, the movie, and it was very depressing to watch. It's not the type of movie to watch over and over unless if you're a very strong person. I've seen it about twice, and I just wanted to talk about it, of talking with your kids and honoring your children's feelings. And Monique was able to play that role because she herself had been molested by her brother. So going through that, she got over it. Even if you are over it, I don't think I could ever. It's just, any type of abuse. Not just sexual, but if you've been abused in any way, verbally, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, by anyone in your life as a child, and then to play that predator, Monique is just an amazing person for that. Because it's like, wow, I'm pretty sure nobody asked her, was there times in the movies that, because for me, it's like, most people that have been through trauma, you would have to take a break, like, okay, this scene, I'm gonna have to take time for, I just can't imagine the emotional intensity it would take to do that part, because you've been the victim, so now you gotta play the predator. That has to be whoa, Monique, I still can't believe that she was able to play that part. But anyway, I wanted to talk about how, none of us are perfect parents, but I know for me, I don't tolerate abuse of any kind. Teachers could be abusive. Hello, somebody. I was just talking to my coworker about that today, and she was like how they told her son not to go to the bathroom. That's abuse. That's abuse. And under the DOE, they're not allowed to do that. And for anybody that's watching this video, if you're a parent, please ask your children what's going on in the classrooms. I can't stress that enough, because a lot of teachers are bullies and they do abuse your kids. So it's good to ask questions, but not to just ask teachers, but it's also good to ask, about family members, because sometimes family members could be, abusive, right? So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. If your child is spending the night over with Auntie Sue and Grandma and this and that, it's good to talk to them about what's appropriate and inappropriate touching, right? So I always told my son from the time he was a baby, don't let nobody touch you down there. I don't care who it is, right? There's a song out right now and people laugh at it, but it's actually a very good video, and it says, don't touch my private parts. I'ma tell my mommy, my daddy, don't touch my private parts. But what people don't understand is sometimes it could be your own mother, God forbid. And that's what the movie Precious was about. Precious was abused by both her stepdad and her mom. And watching that movie was just too emotional for me. And it was just like, oh my God. This is something that it could be therapeutic in a sense, but it's very emotional, because it's like, damn, she got it in the worst way. Any type of abuse she went through, Precious, she really had it bad. It's like, whoa. It was like, they dramatize some things, but some people actually do go through that. So the Precious movie was just so sad. And like I said, for most of us, whatever we went through is nothing compared to what Precious went through. And unfortunately, some people do go through what Precious went through, minus the pregnancies. She got pregnant for her stepdad, I think it was 2 or 3 times. And I said all of that to say this. Oh yeah, what was I there? So it's important to talk to your children about when they go to whoever house to spend the night, even if it is their father's house. If it's a bunch of people in the house, I always ask my son, like, questions like, I never liked the fact of people sharing a bed. I think that's very strange. um it was funny because when Michael Jackson did it, he was a weirdo. But I know this in most black households. Let's talk about it, right? Because that's what my channel is about. We talk about real shit. A lot of black households, both Caribbean and American, people like to share a bed. I don't understand why, because at the end of the day, you could get, you know, sometimes it be like that if you have a big family. But if you have a 5-bedroom house, there's no reason why everybody should be in one bed. It's just no reason for that. It's just, I feel like it's inappropriate, especially when it's like opposite gender, even the same gender. After a certain age, it's just not appropriate. Like, and that's why so many people been molested by their own siblings, because they're sharing a bed. And some people might say, oh well, da 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 da, and it's like, no, like, we gotta break generational curses. We gotta do better. You know, even people who share a room with their kids, and sometimes it'll be the mom and like 5 kids and the dad, and it's like, you have a second bedroom, use it. Like, encourage the children to have their own beds, encourage the children to sleep in their own beds. And it's so normal, it's normalized that everybody's just sleeping in the bed together, and it's like, it's not appropriate, right? And there's so many people that I've met, and when I say a lot of people have confided in me. They was like, yeah, my brother touched me when I was 9, and we were in the bed sleeping, and my parents would sleep. Or, yeah, I was at Auntie Sue's house, and her son, which is my cousin, whatever, touched me. And it's always like a situation of a sleeping. That's why, like, some people be like, no, my child is not sleeping over, even if it is family, because you don't know it's like, you trust people, but you don't know what's in their mind. You don't know who they really are sometimes. And it's sad to think like that, but it's the truth, But I just wanted to put that out there. Always ask your child questions. Precious is a very extra story, but it happens. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. I seen it on YouTube. I just wanted to talk about it briefly. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask your kid questions. Don't be afraid. If you're a teacher, don't be afraid to ask a student questions. You could be saving that child's life. And for parents, don't be afraid to ask your children questions about their teachers in school, because there's so many people I've met that are afraid to speak in public because some teacher bullied them in school. And these people are grown people, 30s and 40s and 50 years old, and they're afraid to speak in public. They're afraid to do certain things because the abuse that they're endured in school is real. So I wanted to end with this: is abuse is never okay. They talk about domestic violence with women, but abuse against children is never okay. And you, as a parent, have to advocate. I remember sitting down with a teacher last year, or it might have been 2 years ago, and I was like, what's your problem? My son is telling me that you keep picking on him. And my son is in high school. And she's like, oh, I love Antonio. And I'm like, you're not supposed to. I'm like, there, you're wrong. You're not supposed to like or dislike him. I think that's very unprofessional for you to say that, because you're not supposed to like or dislike a student. You're supposed to come to work and do your job, period. You're not supposed to accuse a student of something. And just, it's just terrible how people in general treat each other, but let alone when people treat children like that. Like, she accused my son of throwing a tampon in the car. I'm like, my son is a whole boy. Why would he have a tampon? You didn't stop and think about that? Like, you're a bully. And I said it to her face. And I remember I called a meeting. I'm like, do you have a problem with my son? Like, real talk. Like, you have a problem with him? Like, why you keep picking on him? Like, he comes, he does his work, he doesn't bother anybody. So I just told him, ignore her. Sometimes you're going to have people, you have supervisors like that. They just want to pick on you because they fucking miserable. You know, it's called abuse. That's what it is. It's abuse of power. But specifically for my parents, don't be afraid to ask your children what's up. Abuse is never okay. Those are my thoughts.